Tennessee quarterback Joe Milton is about to have an enormous year. Those of you that are following Tennessee football pretty closely, you probably have a good feel for this, but I'm telling you, a lot of the national types, Joe Milton's about to sneak up on a lot of people. And one of the first reasons why I believe this is because the dude is just ridiculously talented. Now, he's not Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker is his own beast. But for Joe Milton, I think just physically, he has some things that maybe are a little bit superior to what Hendon Hooker had. I'm not saying he's a better quarterback than Hendon Hooker. Joe Milton's going to have a chance to show that. But I'm just talking about from physical traits. When God was fearfully and wonderfully making Joe Milton, I am just positive he spilled a bottle of arm strength on him. I mean, he is one of the most powerful arms in the entire country. And you already knew that. They call him Bazooka Joe for a reason. But what we saw in the Orange Bowl, starting to dial it in a little bit more, starting to look a little bit more accurate. If we see that version of Joe Milton going forward, it's going to be a very bad deal for everybody else that already sold their Joe Milton stock. Also, dude's 6'5", 245 pounds, and he's a good athlete. Okay, so you're calling potentially a little bit more quarterback power on 4th and 1 than instead of calling maybe some zone read stuff or whatever you might be. To put that in perspective, his size, Josh Allen is 6'5", 237 pounds. So Joe Milton, as a college student, is the size of someone like Josh Allen who's making plays in the league. So I'm just telling you, just purely off of the physical gifts, Joe Milton has everything that is required to do some real damage in 2023. Now, the other piece of this, there are so many ballers on this offense for Joe Milton to throw to. More on that in a second. Tennessee fans, y'all have been rocking with us here for a minute. We appreciate y'all for that, man. If you haven't yet jumped in the water and subscribed, now is the time. We're going to talk college football here every single day. Talk a lot about your Vols. Also, follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at JDPakel. Just a great medium for us to be able to interact. So we appreciate you for that. Now, speaking of social media, this Tennessee offense has more weapons on it than your auntie has Facebook friends. Dante Thornton, another guy who I think is one of the best-kept secrets in the SEC. Wide receiver transferring from Oregon, 6'5", and my guy can run. The people in Knoxville, you ask them about Dante Thornton, and they just kind of shake their head and say, it's a bad dude. He's going to tear it up this coming season. Do not be surprised in the slightest if he ends up leading Tennessee in receiving production in 2023. Now, the other guy that a lot of Tennessee fans have already been introduced to, Squirrel White. Dude has broken 23 miles per hour on the catapult technology. Translation, he's really, really fast. He's going to kind of be that Jalen Hyatt mold in my mind. Put him one-on-one. Good luck covering him. It's going to be a bad deal. Brew McCoy, proven commodity, big physical receiver. Try and body him up one-on-one. It's going to be a bad day for you. So you kind of go down the list here, and there is going to be a cast of characters for any defense that's just so difficult to account for all of them. Because you can only double cover one of them. And I know you lost Cedric Tillman. I know you lost Jalen Hyatt. But all the guys that you have coming back, that's going to be a handful and a half for any defense to try to cover. So the versatility, the multitude of options you have receiving on this offense just gives Joe Milton even more potential, even more firepower to work with and for him to throw the football to. Because he can spray the ball around the yard now. Josh Heupel, when he came on this show, said those exact same words. Joe Milton can spray the football around the yard. That's just football speak for saying he can throw the ball anywhere he wants to on the field. He's that talented from an arm talent perspective. Now, here's the other thing that I think gets talked about a lot, and people sort of gloss over this part. They say, well, he plays in a QB-friendly system, and then kind of move on. And we sort of all kind of track with that and say, yeah, Hendon Hooker put up good numbers, really good numbers, 2 years in a row, and Tennessee's offense scored a lot of points. But what does that actually mean? What does that practically look like to have a quarterback-friendly system that they run at Tennessee under Josh Heupel? There's 3 components to it, and the first is they're going to go fast. Snap the ball just about every 20 seconds. So defensively, if you're trying to defend Joe Milton, you're going to be a little bit less, one, organized because you're snapping the ball so fast, so it's hard to get lined up properly. 2, you're going to be tired. And when you're tired, just bad things happen in life and in football. But in football, you're probably not able to be as assignment sound. You're probably not as able to be physically on your game. Like, defense is tired, advantage to the offense, advantage Joe Milton, the guy running the offense. The other component of this, they're going to run the football. They're going to run the ball and snap the ball quickly, but they ran the ball last year 54% of the time. Why is that important? Why is that quarterback friendly, as we've come to be told by a lot of people? The linebackers and the safeties have to honor that. They have to get in the mix. And I'll tell you this, man, safeties, they hate filling in run support. A lot of internet tough guys, a lot of Instagram caption heroes that'll say they love laying the lumber and whatever, but I'm telling you, man, safeties like to cover. They like to play in the secondary and play with the receivers. They don't want to come in and fill on run support and tackle that 200-pound-plus running back. Not multiple times in a row. So Tennessee, being a running football team, a run football team first rather, the safeties are going to have to start to cheat a little bit if you have success running the football. And when that happens, there's some real estate to throw the football to, because I'm running up to tackle the running back. Play action. It's actually not a run play. Well, I just left 8 to 10 yards of grass behind me for any of these receiving options that Tennessee has to go and make some plays. So when we look at that part of it, the third piece is they are aligning for success on the receiving side of things. They're going to spread you out, to put it most simply. They're going to put Dante Thornton way out on the hash. They're going to put Squirrel White in the hash. They're going to put Brew McCoy way out on the other hash. And these wide splits, what does it do? It leaves these DBs in one-on-one coverage on an island. And I just told you about all the weapons. You don't want to be left out on an island with these guys, man. Dante Thornton, I'm telling you, he is going to be a name that you hear a whole lot, followed by Tennessee touchdown. That's going to be something you hear very, very frequently in Knoxville. Leave them one-on-one. A lot of space for these guys to get open. But again, a lot of space for Joe Milton to deliver the football. So when I tell you Joe Milton's going to take the country by storm this coming season, I wholeheartedly believe that. Physical abilities, the weapons are ridiculous. The scheme itself, the reasons I just mentioned, are going to play to his advantage. And what would that actually look like? Like practically everyone can say he's in for a big year. But I'm going to tell you specifically, I think when you look at Hendon Hooker's numbers from last year, had 27 touchdowns passing, had several more rushing. And some of that is, not some of that, obviously that's a smaller sample size than what you hope to get from Joe Milton, because Hendon Hooker had the injury at the end of the year. But we'll call it right around 30 touchdowns, right? That's what Hendon Hooker had in 2021. Ran for right around 5 touchdowns. So give or take 35, 36 touchdowns from Hendon Hooker total. I think Joe Milton's going to be right in that range. I really do. Now, what does it look like execution-wise and win total-wise? We'll talk about that when it gets here. But I do not believe this offense will take any steps backwards with Joe Milton playing quarterback. And they feel the exact same way in Knoxville now. I promise you. Josh Heupel is very excited about the Joe Milton era that is about to get started for the good folks on Rocky Top. So all you good people on Rocky Top, make sure you're subscribed right here. We're going to keep you in the know for everything college football. And I promise you we'll talk about your Vols as well. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at JD Pickell. Want to hear from y'all. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.